Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we're going to talk about Impus slash Prince Olympus from Lightspeed Rescue. Now, he's a very interesting character to say the least, and as I was reading through his biology, I came up with a little theory in the end I'll introduce to you guys. But let's go to his character history. Now, Prince Olympus was first seen in the series as none other than the little baby Impus. And for about, I think, half the series, he wasn't really a major character or a threat because he was just in this baby-like form. He kind of looked like this little imp with bat-like wings wrapped around him the entire time. A little bit like a dragon-ish thrown in there too. But he was a little cute thing that the demons kind of were like, he's the prince, whatever, but he's just a little baby. Now, he was nothing like Prince Sprocket or the like from the Machine Empire, because even in his little child form, he didn't really do anything at all. And most of the demons really just kind of like said, oh, look, it's Prince Impus, and walked away. Now, it wasn't until Queen Bansheera got tired of Diabolical constantly failing and threatened to take away his star power and give it to the baby instead. Her quote-unquote heir. I don't know what that means to her, but to everyone else that meant that he's the next in line to take over. In truth, unlikely to take over because she's just that ambitious. Now, when that happened, Diabolico just looks at this child and goes like, I need to kill this kid. Like, it's like he's like looking at it and he's like walks over to the crib at one point. He's about to like strike and just like murder the kid right then and there, except for he's walked in on by none other than Jinxer, who is utterly loyal to the prince for unknown reasons. Now, as time would go on, eventually Diabolical would fail one too many times, and essentially his star power would be taken from him and given to Olympus. Now, at that point, Diabolical would be dead and not seen in the series for a little while, but Olympus would take over and would be a major threat from then on out, even though Diabolical was always a major threat to the Rangers. Now, when he does mature, quote-unquote, he's considered naive and only a teenager. And they think about like 17 or maybe more, but that seems about right the way he acts. And he's not as adept as his predecessor in truth. Now, in his first encounter with the Rangers, he is a powerhouse, wipes the floor with the Rangers, and later gains access to the Aqua Base when he's captured 4 of the Rangers and assumes their forms, able to easily shapeshift between any of them. Now, it is only Carter who's able to figure out what's going on here and foils his plans. Now, this results in Olympus falling into the sea and losing most of his personal power, along with his ability to shapeshift. Exactly how this happens is not fully explained, but you could probably say some blasting threw off everything and maybe cracked the star power. It's not a fully gem. Maybe the seawater went against him. It's truly really unknown, but he was depowered at this point where he couldn't do exactly what he did the first time they did battle. Now, he's not physically as a match for all 5 of the Rangers, but he's still able to take them on pretty well for a little bit. Now, after this point is done, Vampira and her battlings retreat from the battle and send a monster to deal with the aftermath, which they inevitably destroy, leaving Impus to basically run back and go, well, at least I was able to get in the base, I think I can do it again, as an excuse to his mother. Now, his mother kind of just didn't say anything at that point, but Vampira and Loki take charge and attempt to exert their control over the prince and the rest of demonkind. However, this ends up pretty bad when they fail to revive Queen Bansheera and it goes wrong and she becomes deformed. He finally stands up for himself and forces the 2 back in line, going, you failed my mother, she blah 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 blah, whatever excuse he does to basically take back power, and he manages to revive Queen Bansheera, but she's not fully revived. However, he doesn't fully, like, he's like really glad his mom's back and like, but yeah, she doesn't treat him as like her son or as like a prince at all. She basically goes like, hey, yeah, whatever, thank you, son, you did good, whatever, you're just an expendable pawn. And he's like, what? He's like, no, nothing, don't worry about it. And eventually he quickly loses favor with her because he just keeps failing. and she wants results, even though she's more of I will do it myself, it seems, type person. Now, his greatest victory would be when he manages to destroy the Rangers once by using a device that allows him to basically use the rescue bird against them. It causes a massive explosion and kills the Rangers. However, the beginnings of the episode was a little janky because it caused something else in that event of an explosion that Carter would go back in time to earlier that morning, something like straight out of Groundhog Day, and he would learn and prevent the event from happening, preventing Olympus from pulling the stunt and the trigger, and them dealing with the monster of the week then. Now, that is kind of like, I've done it, and then having the carpet pulled out from under you, and then the Rangers underneath it just punching the crap out of you, waiting to do so. And it's kind of like, I've finally done it. I'm the monster who finally killed the Rangers, only to be defeated by some protagonist BS. Just say that. Now, another little victory, a minor one in his truth, because he more thinks it's a victory rather than it was a victory that was just literally stolen from him by time travel BS. Well, another victory he has is when he discovers that Vipera and Loki were to take his place as second in command. He plots to eliminate them by using a monster known as Vilevine to bury them alive. He then claims the Rangers killed them, and then it puts him back in Queen Bansheera's favor. Now, in truth, she probably knows what happened, but finally doesn't say anything because she's like proud of him, going like, well, that's actually you did a really good backstabbing plan. It's really foolproof in truth, but I know that what's happening there, so good on you. However, the plan kind of fails because they survive, Vipera and Loki. They survive and go to the desert where they were first bound and resurrect none other than Diabolico, saying they need help taking on this arrogant Olympus. Now, for a little while in the series, Olympius doesn't really do too much. He kind of darkens the sky a few times and threatens the Rangers, but is always seen retreating at the same time, letting the monster of the week take the brunt of the blows, ends up dying. However, it is when there's a certain episode when he has the monster Freezar attack Miss Fairweather, and while she's testing out her new thermal blasters, and go after the Rangers themselves, and even tries to eat her and have the Forerunner of the Rangers eaten her as well. But they are saved when they're confronted by none other than Vipera, Loki, and Diabolico. Yes, the Rangers are saved by 3 other demons wanting revenge on Olympus. Now, they are about to go to blows, and the Rangers are like going, what the heck is going on here? We killed him. I thought those 2 were dead. What is going on? And Olympus, and they're about to go to blows, and then Bansheera goes, get back here, get back to the Skull Palace, summons them back, and starts yelling at them for interrupting the battle that would have taken out the Rangers once and for all. And then they basically, like small children, go, okay, Mom, and are forced back to work together. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all happy-go-lucky friends again. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. I mean, like, they're cowed into, like, working for her, but behind their backs, they're crossing their fingers going, we'll work together. We're not going to plot against each other. And in truth, Queen Bansheera knows this, but she wants them to work together to kill the Rangers. She doesn't care about their other subtle plots behind their backs, as long as it doesn't directly interfere in her plans of resurrection and the death of the Rangers. So now think about this. You are Olympus, and you've taken out 2 people who you're competition with for second in command, and then they bring back the old guy from the dead who was in your place, you have his star power and all this stuff going down, and you're going, oh crap, now I have 3 enemies I got to deal with. I've got to be much more manipulative and the like. And so he starts working with another demon by the name of Triskull. Now, Triskull is stealing the life force out of innocent children, and Olympus goes, well, we can use this to restore Queen Bansheera. And Triskull goes, yes, we can do that to restore Queen Bansheera. Perfect idea, my prince. However, he's also got his fingers crossed behind his back because he's working for none other than another queen, Queen Trakina. Yes, Trakina from Lost Galaxy, who is trying to restore herself to her ultimate insect form to destroy the rest of the galaxy and get her vengeance on the Rangers and of all of humanity. However, it seems that while Triskull believes he's outwitted Olympus, he knew the entire time, he knew of the treachery, and was actually corrupting the life force with a poison dagger and mutating her into a demon form that he could use against her. Now, this would be, I don't know how he knew exactly. I think he followed Triskull and was able to figure it out from there. But I'm not quite certain how he first suspected, unless he's just suspecting of any demon who makes a deal with him. But good on him. I would like to say hey, good job on you for detecting that. Now, the making her into a demon basically caused her to go to berserk and the like, and it would kill her eventually. However, he didn't care. He didn't care about killing her right away. He wanted to kill her slowly over time, because he wanted one of his enemies taken care of, and it didn't matter which one. If it's Drakina, she dies, whatever, that's a threat taken care of. My mother would be happy that took her out before she became a major threat. Or if it's the Rangers, well, whatever. That's awesome too. However, his plans got foiled because the Galaxy Rangers showed up and lent their Lights of Orion to the Omega Megazord. That's a dumb name for a Megazord, I'm sorry. The Omega Megazord? Ugh, too many megas in there. And to form the Orion Omega Megazord, which destroyed her in one attack. Basically, there was no real use in power even put out there. It was instantly done. No one cared. And Olympus is probably going, crap. I was expecting they'd weaken themselves more and I could step in and wipe out the last guy. But whatever. Now, it would be kind of he'd be it's really complicated what's going to happen here. Because Olympus gets a little too cocky. And his attempts to destroy Rangers keeps failing. So he decides to go with the nuclear option in Truth for Demons. He calls upon the services of the Shadow World Gatekeeper to trap the Rangers in the Shadow World, full of roaming defeated demons. Now, it's a smart plan, but it's risky because he does have many enemies. And once you go in there, unless you have the key, you're not getting out. And he's warned that by the Gatekeeper. And the demons, while they are of the same bloodline of him, you gotta think, these guys are dead. They're looking for souls and basically human essence and life itself. And he has life and he has a soul, so therefore they're going to kill him too, just to think that they can be alive again. So he goes in thinking he traps the Rangers in there. The Rangers get out, and before he can escape, Diabolico shows up, laughs at him, destroys the gateway, and steals the key. Now, it basically gives him the middle finger and flies away, leaving Impus to this fate of getting eaten alive by demons. However, that would not be the end of him, or the last we see of him, because he survives. Not by the normal manners of just constantly doing battle and just doing rigorous ambush tactics against these demons. No, he absorbs the destroyed demons and evolving into a more dragon-like version of himself. However, he still needs more power to escape the Shadow World. And Jinxer, who is still utterly loyal to Impus, is able to communicate through his crystal ball, I do believe, and places a star power link inside the aquabase generator that he sneaks into aquabase essentially, puts it into the generator, and provides Impus the power to escape. Now, Olympus does escape and is about to defeat the Rangers. However, Miss Fairweather breaks the link with the energy and weakens Olympus enough for the Rangers to defeat him. However, his star power is destroyed by the Omega Megazord. Still a dumb name. Double slashing power, basically cutting it in half and seeming to destroy it all going on there. Now, he's seemingly killed. However, he's not killed. He's found by Jinxer again, alive but crippled, basically unconscious, and forced to raise him back to help I wonder if enough soup, or is it demon soup that keeps him going? I'm not 100% certain. But he recuperates under the care of Jinxer, while keeping it unknown from the rest of the demons that he serves. Now, going on from there, once fully healed, he returns back in the service of Queen Bansheera, never realizing that she had completely and utterly abandoned him to the Shadow World, and knew that Diabolico was responsible, and the like. Now, he's utterly oblivious to the fact that his mother thinks of him as expendable and doesn't see him as anything special. I don't think, even if he did defeat the Rangers, that she would see him as anything special. She'd probably praise him to just use him as another tool. And he's unaware of that completely. Now, he would take his revenge on Diabolico in a few episodes going on here by basically challenging him to combat and the like, and they would fight, but right before he's about to finish the blow, Diabolico would turn into a mindless slave by none other than Queen Bansheera. Now, Olympus is like, yes, I have a Diabolico under my control now, and it'd be great. And it is under his control because Queen Bansheera gives it under control, though it's still under her control completely. Now, the two attack the Rangers. However, the demon's plan is completely derailed when Diabolico regains his mind in, like, some blast the Rangers send at him, and he's like, what's going on? And then goes, crap, and attacks Olympus, saving the Rangers, and Olympus is struck down by Diabolico. Now, this doesn't last long, as he's quickly brought back in not long after and turned into a super demon. Yeah, it's just think of like a hyper intense form, completely under Queen Bansheera's control, along with Diabolico, who's also, again, after being destroyed, back in his super demon form, also under her control. And this gets way more complicated as time goes on. With their newfound powers, they're able to cripple the Omega Zord and destroy the Super Train Megazord and the Lightspeed Solar Zord. So they're basically forced to create a new Zord to resort to the new Life Force Megazord. Now, it's dangerous for its users because it uses their very life force to power it, which for 5 Rangers, 5 humans, I don't know how much life force that is. Like, I can't quantify life force in truth, because in most TV shows, in animes, one guy always has more than anybody else and goes Super Saiyan. Now, because of this, the Olympus and Diabolico are no match and are quickly destroyed by this new machine. Now, that is the end of Olympus, and he's not seen again. And I would have liked to see him, in truth, one last time when Queen Bansheera is finally thrown down into the pit after Diabolico betrays her one last time, being like grabbing his mother and going, "Do you still love me, Mom?" And and just starts like eating her like just like the other demons did, kind of. So it's really interesting there because it would be like good vengeance, because he had no idea the entire time that his mother was basically a bitch, in truth. And like was completely using him. No idea at all. Now, why that was, we have no idea. But he was utterly loyal to her. Now, there's a big question here going on. Who was his father? And I want to put out there that it might have been Jinxer, just by the way his unswearing loyalty was. While all the other demons were relatively underhanded and the like, unless they're like Diabolico, Vipera, or Loki, the rest, they're all kind of like loyal to one another in their tight groups. Like, Diabolico turns against Queen Bansheera as soon as he sees Loki get destroyed by the mind control that he was put under. Like, that was like a major point in Diabolico going, Queen Bansheera isn't worthy of my praise. I need to betray her in any best fashion possible. Now, the other demons work together, besides Triskull working for Trakina, but they're all loyal to somebody in some fashion. It's just a matter, and they're all utterly, quote-unquote, loyal to Queen Bansheera, even though she's not loyal to them at all. So, the most likely candidate, while never said, would be Jinxer, in truth, as the father of Olympus, because he's utterly, completely loyal to Olympus at all times. And while it's never said anyplace, but he basically broke him out of the shadow prison, raised him as a kid, as a baby, was the one who stopped Diabolico from murdering him in his crib, brought him out of the shadow world. When he was defeated, snuck into enemy base to basically power him up, and when that failed, found him, nursed him back to health in secret without not telling anybody, and basically supported him the entire time. If he's not the father, he needs to be the father, because that man just was like father of the year the entire time. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that he is none other than the father of Olympus, Jinxer, or am I completely wrong? Because there is no father there. The only other possibility is that Queen Bansheera had a father and then basically devoured him. Yeah, that's the only thing I could say, like a praying mantis, the like thing. Now, let me know, guys, what you guys think. Don't be afraid to ask. Have a good one, guys, and may the power protect you always.